She stole hundreds of dollars from you? How did she do that? Are you calling the police on her? Is she gonna pay it back? Like, what does her mom say? Oh, I would be so mad. There's no way we can justify that, right? Happy apple picking day. I'm traveling again. I know, I've been traveling a lot lately. Right now, I am in Boston, but I go home later today, so I'm so excited to see the cats. Anyways, back to business. If you want to transfer your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send it to my subreddit, r/AmITheBadApple. And our weekly reminder, we all come from different branches of the apple tree. And what that means is that we all grew up living different lives and having different experiences. And those experiences are going to dictate not only how we hear a story that we're being presented, it's also going to change like how we think about it and our opinions on these stories and people's intentions. That's just life. That's why I give you guys reasonings for my opinions and I read yours down in the comments and you guys read each other's and we talk and we converse and sometimes your mind gets changed, sometimes my mind gets changed, sometimes someone else's mind gets changed. We're never too old to learn something new. So without further ado, let's get started with this week's episode of Am I the Bad Apple? Let's go apple picking. Apple number 1. Am I the bad apple for flipping off my dad? I, 35 male, adopted my son, 3, when he was a baby. A lot of people in my family have had issues with this because he has autism. And because of that and the fact that he's adopted, a lot of people in my family have the mindset that he's not really a part of the family. This not only pisses me off, but it just shatters my heart. Recently, my dad called and demanded that my son's upcoming birthday party be a superhero-themed birthday party. Well, my son really wanted a Disney princess-themed party. He really likes watching the princess movies and the TV shows and YouTube videos and hasn't really shown an interest in superheroes, so I went ahead and went with the princess one because that's what my son likes and it's his birthday. Well, my family didn't like this and even decided to try to guilt trip me by sending me photos of my dad crying over this. We all got into a big fight and apparently I should apologize to my dad for not giving my son the birthday party that my dad wanted, but apparently they don't have to apologize to me to being so unaccepting of my son. Crazy how that works out, right? I decided to take a page from my family's book and took a video of myself and my son having a tea party. And subtly, while my son wasn't looking, I flipped off the camera and smiled and sent it directly to my family, specifically for my dad. Maybe that makes me the bad apple. I can see it and I'd accept it, but I just want to know. Was I the bad apple? I think different people are gonna have very different opinions on this. I personally am going to go crab apple just based on me and what I would do. Okay, do I think that picking the birthday party theme that your son wanted over your dad was a wrong decision? No, absolutely. Disney princess it up. I'll come dressed as Belle. You send me an invitation, I'll be there, okay? I love that. I love that you're so supportive of your son and his interests and what he likes and you pay attention to that and you advocate for him and you stand up for him. I love that. I don't know if I would have done the video thing. To me, it's not even the video thing. To me, if your goal was to still continue to have a relationship with your family, which I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want that. I wouldn't blame you if you decided to just go no contact. For me, there would be 2 ways to go about this. If you decided in that moment that you wanted to go no contact with your family because of how they were treating your son, I would support that and I would go completely good apple. If you decided you still wanted a relationship with your family and you recorded you guys having the tea party and you're like, hey, just wanted to keep you involved in our lives. I know that you don't like that he likes these interests, but I'm gonna keep supporting these interests. I thought you might just wanna see us having fun together. I would support that also. I personally feel like taking the video just to flip them off in it, to me, that's just kind of stirring the pot. It's not just living your life and moving on. To me, it's just kind of adding to the problems and adding to the drama. And I don't personally love that, especially when it's over a child. I feel the less stress surrounding a child, the better. And of course, the child doesn't know what's going on, but I just feel I don't like feeling the kid is a pawn to just kind of at your family, I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I don't love that. So I think that if you wanted to do like a selfie flipping off your family, like I still wouldn't love that either, because I feel like, again, it's just adding to the drama. But I don't like how like the son's activities are being used as pawns to just piss your family off. I just feel like that's excessive. Like if you want them to be in your life, okay, then like don't antagonize. If you don't want them to be in your life, I would go for that route, like for the child, but then just like do that, you know? Like I feel like this just stirring the pot for no reason and making more problems. Like that's why I'm going crabapple. Not because I disagree with like having the party the way the son wants it or having the tea party. Like I just think that it's just creating more unnecessary drama that like make a decision, stick to it personally, if that makes any sense. Like it's not even like a petty resolution or close. Like it's just gonna keep the problems going, and you know that. And so that's why I'm personally going crabapple. Apple number 2. Am I the bad apple for being weird about student relationships? I, 20-year-old female, am a middle school teacher. I don't personally support middle school dating. My students are usually very sweet and obedient, and I love them a lot, but every Friday I give my kids a relaxing day so they don't have much to do in my class. They just work so hard Monday through Thursday, I figure I could give them a little bit of a veg day each week. This one Friday, I stepped out of my classroom and asked my teacher bestie if she could watch the kids. When I came back, 2 of my students, let's call them Emma and David, were sitting on each other, and like Emma kissed him. The teacher who was supposed to be watching them was just playing on her phone. I immediately told them to stop, and Emma just rolled her eyes on me and continued to sit there, so I separated them, and Emma got pissed. The next morning, after a meeting, I saw a bunch of my middle school girls in the hallway sitting in boys' lap. I snapped at them and said that I was going to be moving all their desks and splitting the room in half and putting girls on one side and boys on the other, because this finagling was just not going to happen in my classroom. The next day, I told my coworkers, expecting them to agree with me, but they all said that I was being over the top and that I had no business being so involved in their relationships. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I just wanted to know, am I the bad apple? Hold on, you had other teachers annoyed that you split up like 12-year-olds who are kissing on each other? I feel like I'm missing something. That makes no sense to me. Do you think that they were just, I'm gonna assume that they were like getting on you about telling them they couldn't sit on each other in the hallway maybe, like when they weren't in your class, like before or after school, whenever that was. Maybe. I still think that's weird, but like I don't think you did anything wrong personally. Like at a bare minimum, I know a lot of different people, especially parents, have different ideas on like when it's appropriate for kids to start dating, and like I am not a parent, I don't have any experience with that. But regardless, like kissing on each other in the middle of the classroom is still not appropriate. Like it doesn't matter how old you are, there's a time and place. School is not that time or place. I absolutely would have done the exact same thing. If you are kissing on each other in the classroom, absolutely not. Move. Like, and if you keep doing it, I'm gonna call your parents. Like, no. In the hallway, would I have said anything in the hallway? It depends. And this is, again, where I can see, like, maybe this is what the other teachers were, like, getting on her about. Even though, like, so I taught high school. And so, like, of course, there's a lot of students that are in relationships and have long-term relationships. And so there's a lot of times where I see, like, girlfriend, boyfriends in high school, like, give each other a kiss bye. I've never, like, told a kid no about that. I've never told them to, like, stop that, anything. If it got excessive and, like, kids were in each other's laps and kissing on each other, like, I probably would say, like, hey, time and place. This is not the time or the place. For sure. I think I just need more, like, information about, like, were they just kind of sitting and snuggling with each other in the hallway? I probably wouldn't have said anything. But if they're, like, there's a line. And once you cross the line, I absolutely would be like, absolutely not. And if the kids were having trouble, like, not being all over each other in class, before class, whatever, yeah, no matter who it was, whether it was romantic or not, like if kids were having trouble acting appropriately, yeah, move their desks for sure. Like that's not a big deal. So like I'm gonna go good apple personally because I can't think of anything like wrong, and I can already see like kids in the comments like no, it's none of your business. Let's do what we want. Blah, blah, blah. No, like these are 12-year-olds. Like, yeah, it is your teacher's business because they are legally responsible for you while you're at school. So yes, what you're doing while you're there is their business. The things that you get into while you're there is their business. They are legally responsible for you. I know with my whole heart and soul that, like, if a parent found out that their kid was like kissing all over someone else at school, like, there's a 75% chance that they'd call the school and blame the teacher for not keeping a better eye on them. Even if it wasn't during class, yeah, I can still see that happening. So, like, yeah, it is the teacher's business. You're not gonna convince me otherwise. Just knowing what goes all into that and how parents react when things happen, yeah, I'm going good apple on this one. Apple number 3. Am I the bad apple for shattering my wife's heart? I need an outside opinion on this. This has been an ongoing issue and I've talked to my wife multiple times. My wife makes less money than me and is the type of person who prefers to make her own gifts for people. The issue is she'll do this even if the person doesn't want a homemade gift. I'll use myself for an example. For the past few years, she's made every single gift that I've been given. No matter what I ask for, I get a homemade gift. It doesn't matter if it's cheap or not. Last Christmas, I asked for a couple things and I instead got a homemade scarf. I always get my wife the things that she wants. I've talked to her about this multiple times. My birthday was yesterday and I just asked her to give me a book. It was a $25 book and I even sent her the link so it would be like easy for her to know where to get it. I opened the gift and there was homemade bookmarks. Not even the type of bookmarks that I like. They were made from fabric and I like wooden ones. I must have made a face because she asked what was wrong and I told her, I don't want these. I made it so clear what I actually wanted, and I've talked to her about it multiple times. I handed her back the bookmarks and just went out to buy the book myself. We had a big fight when I got back, and she claims that I'm being an ungrateful jerk. I don't see why she couldn't just get me the $25 book. It's not like we have separate finances, we have joint accounts. Why can she not use our combined money to get me the things that I want? So I need to know. Was I the bad apple? Okay, the last line like really changed my perspective. Cause like the whole time I'm thinking like, well, like you made a point to say that she makes less money than you. Like how much less money does she make? Like can she afford the things that you're asking for? But then when you say like, oh, we have combined finances and like you're asking for a $25 book, I would probably be disappointed too. I kind of go like back and forth on this one, not because I think that wanting anything and being upset when you don't get what you wanted from a loved one is wrong, but more so like I'm a person that has trouble asking for things, whether it's a gift, whether it's help. Like I'm personally not good at like asking for things or wanting things from other people. So like that's where a lot of my opinion on this story comes from, is that like I would never have the confidence to be like, this is what I want you to give me, please do that. Like I just get it for myself because I would never expect, even for like my birthday or the holidays, I would never expect for someone to like do that for me because that's the kind of person that I am. So I personally have trouble like not just being grateful for anything that somebody gives me personally because I don't like to expect anything from people. Now I know other people in my life who don't like receiving presents from people because they never get what they want and so they would prefer nothing so that they're not disappointed. I feel like everyone just has like a different idea and mentality surrounding gifts, but I'm trying to like separate my own insecurities about gift receiving from the story to like give a unbiased opinion, and I'm having trouble. I feel like I would have rathered see a little bit more communication in this conversation personally. Like instead of saying like, oh, you never give me what I want. Like I feel like instead saying, hey, when I'm telling you like I want X, Y, Z, and you just go and do something completely different, like I'm feeling unloved and unvalidated. Because like I used to love doing arts and crafts for people and like doing homemade things, and like I felt like I was putting love into whatever I was making. And so I can definitely see a world where the wife genuinely believes that these gifts are like received with love and appreciated and are seen for the hard work and effort that she's given. Now, like, I'm sure there are some people who could see her blatantly disregarding what her husband is asking for as like malicious. I choose to like to see the best in people, and I choose to believe that she genuinely just thinks that the love in these presents is obvious and is being received. I think the two of them have different love languages. And so I feel like if he were to communicate, hey, when I'm saying I want X, Y, Z and that's being ignored, I'm feeling invalidated. And I think that would completely change her perspective on what's happening. Because I can also see her thinking like, well, anyone can buy this book, but can anyone make him a bookmark to go with it? And I'm choosing to believe that's how she saw it and wasn't just trying to be a brat about it. And now if he were to say that and she were to still not like do the things that he wanted, then I'd have a different opinion. But like the bottom line is I would like to see a little bit more communication of, instead of just, oh, well, I didn't get what I wanted, I'm feeling unheard. And this is making me feel invalidated and unheard and unseen because I'm telling you what I want and you're blatantly choosing to do something else. And so I'm gonna go crabapple, not because I think like wanting a present and wanting something specific from a loved one is a bad thing, but because like I feel like the communication and explaining how it's really making him feel and what it's doing to their relationship isn't there. At least it's not like I don't see it there, and I would like to see that there instead of just, oh, well, I don't want these. Like, tell her why. Tell her how it's making you feel. Like, get to the bottom root of the issue of, like, communication. Yeah. I just feel like there's not enough communication, and that's why I'm going crabapple. Not because I think that there's anything, like, wrong in either of their intentions, but because I think they're going about it the incorrect way, personally. Apple number 4. Am I the bad apple for demanding my niece pay me back for the hundreds of dollars she stole from me? I have a perfume collection that I started when I was a teenager slinging burritos at my first job. I have over 400 perfume bottles at this point, and I take great pride in this collection. I also use it. I'm happy to give people little samples of scents they might like of most of my bottles. I'll let them sample a spray or two, give some little bottles as gifts. You know, it all brings me joy. What I have a huge effing issue with is my 17-year-old niece coming into my house under the guise of walking my dog for me, decanting bottles into little sample bottles on her own, and selling the samples to her little friends on Instagram. She thinks because I have so many bottles, I wouldn't notice some go missing or getting massive dents in them. Well, little Miss Entrepreneur failed to realize that her private Instagram wasn't set to friends only on her stories or whatever it is. And I saw every single freaking story with a price tag for all the samples that she had. I tallied all that up and got a pretty good estimate based on the cost per ounce of everything that she took. Thankfully, she mostly picked the TikTok famous perfumes and didn't end up going for like the rare niche ones. She also snatched an entire 2.5 ounce bottle of one perfume that runs over $300 at most retailers, as well as full bottles of perfume that you can just get at Sephora. That includes like the Marc Jacobs and the Burberry and the Flower Bum and the really expensive ones. But petty or not, I printed out the entire list of what she'd taken, the price estimate, and I handed it off to my sister, aka her mother. I said that I expect to be paid back in full. And of course, her sneaky little behind is never allowed back in my house again. My sister got super pissy with me, going on about how my niece is just a kid. Kids make mistakes. I said, yeah. Kids make mistakes, and this is a great way for my niece to learn from hers. Their argument is that now the money they were gonna use for her car has to go towards paying me back. I don't care. She's lucky that I have no interest in involving the police or small claims or any of that. But I don't know, they're really adamant, so I just need to know. Am I the bad apple? No. No, you're not. Do not let these people gaslight you. She's 17. She knows better. Yeah, okay, she's a minor. And in 1 year, probably less than that, she won't be. You're telling me that in like however many months it takes for her to turn 18, she's just magically gonna gain the maturity to not steal? No, she knows stealing's wrong. She's 17 years old. Teaching teenagers to be accountable for their actions, in my opinion, is a good thing. It's a very good thing because it keeps them from doing this or worse later. Knowing that there are consequences for their actions, knowing that they can't just take things that aren't theirs, they can't just steal, they can't just like this is stealing, this is theft. If she were to do that at Sephora, they would call the police, she would go to jail. You can't do that. I'm 1000% with the aunt. I think, tally up everything that she took, make her pay it back if it means that she can't buy a car for longer because she stole and she has to pay the money back. Oh no, is that the consequences of my actions? Like, yeah, it is. You're never going to convince me that like teaching teenagers accountability is a bad thing. Did you get anything similar to me? Did you get anything different than me? I would love to know. I'm so excited to read all your thoughts down in the comments and just kind of see what you're thinking. You know what? I think that we haven't seen a bad apple in a long time. I think they're getting kind of scared. Maybe they'll come out in October for Halloween? No. Bad apples, where are you at? Maybe they're learning. As a reminder, if you want a chance for your stories to be featured on Am I the Bad Apple, you can send them to my subreddit, r/Am I the Bad Apple. And for your well wishes today, oh my gosh, we got options, let me tell you. Apparently it's National Taco Tuesday. I love that. It's also National Fruit at Work Day. I'm gonna have to go find me some strawberries. And it's also National Pumpkin Spice Day. Thank you, October, for bringing in the pumpkin spice. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big coffee person, but maybe I will try like a pumpkin spice chai. I feel like that would be really good. Okay, I'm gonna go try it and I will report back. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and hope to see y'all next week. Bye, my lovelies. Mwah.